we go again, folks. We have the next storm here. This one has picked up pace for sure, and we do now have this new severe thunderstorm warning. Now, what's interesting about this is that this storm looks to be, at least for the moment, does look to be shrinking here. And so the last storm came into Ellis County, and then it kind of sputtered away. And as you can see here, that one has completely fallen apart. And so I mean, it's possible that this storm, like the last one, could move into Ellis County and then start to weaken and eventually kind of fall apart. They're moving farther away from the stationary front, and that stationary front is their lifting mechanism. So where the cap is in place, where they're closer to the lifting mechanism, they're able to push through that cap and fight against it and prevail over it. But when you get farther away from the lifting mechanism, they're eventually going to lose that lift, and that's going to cause them to weaken as they move into the capped atmosphere. So, I mean, we could be looking at a situation where this storm comes in and then falls apart. But for now, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning in place, and looks like quarter to $half sized hail is primarily the reports that we're getting from Tarrant and Dallas County. One report of penny-sized hail there. So it looks like hail sizes are going down in this storm as it makes its way south. It is moving through the Arlington Grand Prairie area right now, moving through Duncanville there to the east towards Cedar Hill. So it's going to continue on. I'm not sure how much of Johnson County is really going to get hit with this. Only part of the county is actually in the warning right now. Mansfield, you've got some gusty winds headed your way, and there are some gusty winds in this storm. So expect this one to have some strong gusty winds, some hail of pocket change size, everything from penny to $half size hail reported, and then that will continue to move on to the south. But as I mentioned, just in the last couple of frames here, you can see towards Irving, it's starting to kind of weaken, apparently starting to at least shrink here. It is definitely not the big storm we saw up north in the Keller area, north of Bedford. It does look to be losing that intensity. So I know there's a lot of questions about specific towns, but here's the way we are seeing this. Let me kind of move this over a little bit. And this is, I know every town isn't up here. That's why you've got to be familiar with where your town is on the map. Here's Oak Leaf, here's Midlothian. Of course, nearby that, you've got Red Oak, you've got Ovilla over here, Waxahachie, of course. So, you know, you got to know where you are on that map in order to have the best idea of what to expect. Now, a couple of things that I'm watching. We do have that little bit of a hook starting to pop off there, and unfortunately that is really close to the radar location, so it's hard for me to really get a good read on velocity there. But I have some doubts about whether we're seeing rotation on this storm. First, because it does look to be shrinking. So I would be surprised to see rotation intensifying in that storm, just because it seems to be on a weakening trend here, at least partially. And then going forward here, there are, as I mentioned, gusty winds in this storm. Looks like, well, now it looks like we could be looking at a fresh hail core there in parts of Grand Prairie over towards Joe Pool Lake. And then this storm, as I mentioned, it is moving faster now. So it was moving fairly slow and then has moved very quickly just in the past 10-15 minutes here. So it is moving very quickly down to the southeast and is headed towards parts of Johnson and Ellis counties here in the next several minutes. As we look beyond this, I want to show you that the storms we were watching to the southeast, or southwest rather, falling apart. So there's really not anything other than this storm right now. So once we get rid of this storm, that will be it for the time being. I can't rule out more. We could see more as we go forward. But for the moment, I don't see anything else excuse me, coming out of this system. There's a stationary front that is draped across our area, and so that can be the focal point for more storms. We're also getting closer to 8 o'clock though. Sunset is at 8:27, so just before 8:30. So we've got another 40 minutes here before sunset starts, and especially when you start losing sunlight, you start losing daytime heating, start cooling things down, that starts to kind of cut down on the lift a little bit here. But we'll be watching that little tail to see if that continues to increase that little curvature there. And Biggie on YouTube, is that not a hook echo right above Mansfield? So here's the thing. You can have what I call coincidental hooks, right? A coincidental hook is a hook shape that's not actually associated with rotation. Now, as I mentioned, it's a little hard to see the velocity on, let me just check let me check something else. It's a little hard to see the velocity there. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to see the velocity view because the radar is right here in Burleson. When you're really close to that radar, sometimes it's hard to see a lot of detail. I will say, judging by the airport radar towers, it does look like we could be seeing some rotation possible in that part of the storm. But again, that's not a very clear look. I'm looking at velocity at the radar in Burleson, and it's hard to see, but it does look like we have some decent wind speeds there. So we'll be watching this storm for more signs of rotation. Let's just pause this for a second, kind of orient everyone in this area. And this is going to be one of those situations where this is the only storm we have. So in the comments, people are asking about Ennis and all these different places. Just let them know that, this storm is the only one we have, and it's north of Ellis County. So nothing really happening there. We are seeing some pretty decent winds right now in the core of this storm. Again, I'm not seeing anything that immediately has me concerned about rotation at this time in the part of the storm. Of course, it's very close to the radar, so wind-wise, it can be hard to kind of tell. But I think the primary risk right now is going to be the large hail and the strong winds. All the hail reports that I'm seeing right now from the National Weather Service, I've got quarter size, penny size, let's see. Now, as far as the really large hail, this report, baseball size hail, that was 2 miles northeast of Arlington. And that was at 7:43. So there is a report of baseball size hail, report of golf ball size hail there too. And I know there's several people that are all repeating the same question about Midlothian. We will get there. Calm down. We will get there. But there have been earlier reports of large hail sizes. It looks like it dropped off a little bit, but we could be seeing that hail core starting to make a resurgence there. So we'll keep an eye on that. But as far as Midlothian, I know there's a lot of people in Midlothian that are watching, and they're all banding together in the comment section to see if it's going to hit there. It does look like it is headed towards Midlothian. So if you are in the Midlothian area, I would be prepared for this storm. Make sure you're going inside and following this live coverage to see how we cover this storm, because you could have some decent sized hail and some strong winds headed towards the Midlothian area. Now, I've been getting a lot of reports of sirens sounding in this place, and what I'll tell you, and I'll remind you again, is we are looking at a situation where a lot of people still think that the sirens are strictly tornado sirens. They're not really just tornado sirens anymore. They're outdoor warning sirens for one, but they're sounded now for large hail and damaging winds. So, I mean, we have reports in this storm in the past of baseball-sized hail. So, when we're talking about the possibility of, baseball-sized hail, I mean, yeah, they're going to sound those sirens, but they're outdoor warning sirens. They're warning everybody outside. Of course, they're also going to probably be more generous and a little more liberal with when they sound those right now, because it's Memorial Day and that tends to have people outdoors. So they're going to sound those with such a strong storm headed this way, because that can be a concern on a holiday like this. So just don't be alarmed, and don't assume that there's a tornado warning when those sirens are sounded, because you could very well be looking at a situation where there's no tornado reported, or not even one imminent. So that's kind of where we are right now with this. And then that continues to move to the southeast. So the warning as it is, this is the new warning here, does include Lillian, Venus, Midlothian, Oak Leaf, Pecan Hill. It's going to include Red Oak and Ovilla, almost to Waxahachie here. And so as it moves on to the southeast, again, following the polygon that you see here, as it makes its way towards Midlothian, towards Waxahachie, we're going to have to keep an eye on it. And we will have to watch for signs of rotation with this storm going forward. So we will monitor this, and again, we're still seeing a pretty decent hail core with this storm. And then, of course, we have this little bit of outflow here, which, as long as we have this outflow that's out ahead of this storm, I still think that could limit the rotation a little bit. And that's going to bring some gusty winds, too. So gusty winds moving through Britain right now, going to be moving right down 287, right past 360 here fairly quickly. And then as we continue on, towards Midlothian. So you'll start feeling those gusty winds in the next, I would say, 10 minutes or so in the Midlothian area. You'll get the gusty winds first, and then the storm will follow that. Again, these gusty winds, I think, will probably help to limit just how much rotation we will actually see in that storm, because that limits the inflow. Because you have to have that reciprocating inflow with the cool outflow to make things work rotation-wise. So that's kind of the situation just as I see it right now. And Ashley, I see you asking about, is it going to hit Rice? It's far, far away from Rice right now. It's a little hard to tell at the moment what it's going to do, but we will continue to follow this, and as we get closer to Navarro County, there's no guarantee that this storm will even make it all the way through Ellis County. So, it's hard to say this far north, because we've already had one storm that fell apart quickly already in Ellis County, didn't even make it to Navarro County. This storm could be similar. And so it's hard to say that far south exactly what we're looking at. Let me put it back into motion, because man, there's a lot of people asking what direction it's going, and it's going you see the box here. It's going the direction of the box, moving to the southeast. So that's where it's going. You can see that it is moving towards Midlothian, eventually towards Waxahachie here. Again, as you can see where that box is, it's gonna stay generally within that box as it continues on to the southeast. And just checking some notifications here. Okay. All right, I think we're good there. So this storm, Jessica asking how fast it's moving. I mean, we're talking, 20 miles per hour here? Let me check. Yeah, so per the warning, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. So that's about double the 10 miles per hour it was doing earlier. So it has sped up. Remember, this one was largely stationary right there in southern Denton County, northern Tarrant County, north of Fort Worth, and then now it's making its way fairly quickly with this storm. And I'm still not really seeing any kind of rotation that I'm really concerned about in this storm. As I mentioned, it's fairly close to the radar, so sometimes it can be hard to see that kind of detail, but I'm not seeing any kind of rotation at this point. So Nathan, okay, almost moving due south. I think south-southeast is I guess, fair. I do still see some eastward motion here, but there is southerly motion with it. The latest report of hail looks like quarter-size hail reported in Pantego, and that was just a few minutes ago here. So, yeah, another report of half-dollar size hail. So it seems like half-dollar size hail is the largest size we've had recently from this storm. Now, again, we're seeing this hail core, and now it looks like this hail core is trying to kind of build to the southwest a little bit. That's interesting. I mean, just in the last couple frames, and we saw it once, but this is the first time I'm really seeing a trend of it. It's kind of building towards the Mansfield area. So, let me see here. So moving towards the Mansfield area here, here's that hail core, and really that's going to be the strongest part of the storm and probably where you have the stronger winds as well. So this is kind of, it's trying to build, it's kind of building west here. The whole storm is moving south-southeast, but this hail core has been kind of building farther to the southeast, or southwest rather. I'm thinking Mansfield's going to start taking this personally, but you can see the way this thing is moving here. Let me put this back into motion. And just in the last 2 or 3 frames or so, you can kind of see that start to build a little bit to the southwest. Pea-sized hail reported over in Grand Prairie, the storm moving towards Jopol Lake there, towards Britain, right into Mansfield here. Unfortunately, Mansfield, you might be just starting to see the heaviest part of this storm move in imminently here, really in the next 10 to 15 minutes here. And great picture from, let's see, that's from Samantha Rowland. Great photo of the approaching storm there, seeing some striations. So normally that would be a indication of some rotation. Not seeing rotation on the radar right now though, so that at least has me a little bit reassured here that I'm not seeing anything too terribly imminent. And picture from Midlothian now as well. Lots of messages coming in, so just give me 1 second here. Lots of photos. So, yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the striations in the storm that would normally indicate some rotation. But I'll bet what I'm seeing. If I can just look at this closely again. Hard to tell, but I might actually be seeing the outflow here. So this outflow, this is moving towards the Midlothian area. Tara Boyd, we're a little far north of Frost to really know what to expect there. So stay tuned. We'll get a better idea as we get closer. But this little outflow here is continuing on to the south, and I want to see that continue because again, I think that can limit the inflow coming in to possibly make this storm rotate. So I think that's our friend at this point, doing us some favors. But the hail core definitely looks like it's intensifying there. And lots of pictures coming in of that storm. And I appreciate all those pictures. Some of these are contenders for like an iPhone wallpaper here. Great photographs of some of this. Jennifer Ayers especially. Great picture of the side of that structure there. Love that picture. Alexis, great picture. Lots of pictures coming in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull any of those up because that would take a lot of work, and we got to make sure we stay on the radar to keep people informed. But man, okay, I've gotten the pictures. I've seen the storm from about 15 angles, I think. But we continue to have the outflow coming in. That's going to bring gusty winds, and then it's moving right into Mansfield. So Mansfield is going to get the strongest part of the storm here. So Mansfield, Lillian, Alvarado, Avalon, I would say, or not Avalon, Venus rather. That's the area where I think we need to be watching the storm most closely. Caitlin, you're asking about Palmer. Palmer is a good ways away from this storm. I don't think Palmer is really going to be affected much by this. This is all southeastern Tarrant County, northern portions of Johnson County and Ellis County. So we continue to see that little hook there, but again, I'm just not seeing any kind of imminent rotation at this moment. Granted, the National Weather Service is going to be watching this judging from the CASA radar, which they have one of those in Midlothian, much closer to ground level, and that's going to get probably a pretty good view of this. I don't have access to that myself. Would be nice if they did, or if I did rather, but they will get another view on this, and so if they issue a tornado warning or something, then we'll reevaluate it then. But at the moment, I'm seeing more of a straight line wind threat than a tornado threat. So in Mansfield, you want to be at least sheltering indoors. Not a bad idea to get away from windows as the strong winds and large hail move through. Again, all of the hail reports we've had, there was a report of ping pong sized hail from this storm just a few minutes ago. And so that is what we're watching from this storm. So far, that's been the biggest that I've seen from the National Weather Service, at least, is ping pong sized hail. Somebody in the comments saying golf ball sized hail in Mansfield. Haven't seen confirmation of that necessarily, but it is out there. So, we're watching for the hail reports that come through the National Weather Service. Looks like, okay, so golf ball size hail reported 1 mile southeast of Grand Prairie, and that was about 15 minutes ago. So that's been quite some time ago. So not anything recent here in terms of that that storm. So the good news is the hail does not sound truly massive at this point. It sounds like it's mostly pocket change, maybe some ping pong size hail mixed in there. Granted, ping pong size hail is not exactly tiny. So we'll continue to monitor that. And as I mentioned before, if you get hail damage during this storm, you want to call Synergy Roofing here. You don't want to go with these guys who are just who don't have as much experience and aren't as familiar. You want to make sure that you're paying attention. I'm checking something here. Okay, I'm just checking a lot of messages coming in. But you want to call Synergy Roofing to check that roof. They have experience. They know what they're doing with these storms. They're not the kind of guys that are just going to, go chase the storms and go knock on doors just, to try to get high volume. So just make sure you get in touch with Synergy Roofing if you need that. I think the hail core will head towards Ovilla. This is well west of Ovilla at this point. And that's what we're looking at in terms. Okay. He wants attention again. You want to be on the camera, huh? Oh, the weather cat just has to have attention. He's got to be on camera. See, this is all going to his head now. So this is what we're watching right now, heading towards Mansfield. And it is moving, and yeah, I know there's some criticism of my. So here's the thing, guys. In the last few frames, it was moving southeast. In the last few frames, we have seen the hail core start to move to the west a little bit, and that is pulling the storm more southerly. So it has kind of shifted just in the past several minutes in terms of its direction. So I will let you guys have that it is moving more southerly. So. And now we've got another roofing company trying to compete in the comments, but I will let you know that Synergy Roofing is a paid sponsor of South Metro Weather, so that's the difference, right? So that hail core is persistent, moving right into parts of Mansfield, especially going to be eastern parts of Mansfield here, moving on south and then into the Mansfield area very soon towards Britain. And originally I was concerned about Midlothian with this, but it's starting to look more towards the Lillian Venus area. So we'll kind of monitor this. It's it built farther west, and you can kind of see that here. It did an interesting kind of shift farther to the west here towards the Mansfield area. So. Definitely want to watch this continue to push to the west a little bit here. The whole storm, of course, is moving south, but it's just kind of starting to build a little bit farther to the west there. Ron Alfred Jeremy, I think I know what you're doing with your name there, but you don't have to go after everybody. We got this. We're fine. So just watching the reports that are coming in, quarter-sized hail, several reports of that 2 miles north of Mansfield. And so that's going to probably be most of what we're going to see. Now remember, storms are judged by the largest hailstone you find. And so people may find hailstones. There may be a couple of ping pong ball sized hailstones out there. But most of the hail we're finding is pocket change. So that's going to be the what we're seeing out there, or what's being reported. All right, so the outflow boundary continues, and yeah, the cat. The cat is known as the weather cat because he keeps insisting on being involved here, even though he really doesn't do anything helpful. He just kind of sits here. So as this outflow boundary continues southward, you'll get the first kind of gust of wind there. So there are some gusty winds affiliated with that, but the strongest winds are in the core of that storm. That's also where the hail is as well. So wind speeds, we're probably looking at, I would say, 60 maybe to 70 miles per hour, right around severe weather criteria. Severe weather criteria is 58 miles per hour or more. That's the criteria for a severe thunderstorm. So right around, I would say, 60 to 70 miles per hour in terms of the wind speeds to expect there. And then most of that hail is going to be pocket change hail, penny size, maybe quarter size, a couple of $50 size. There have been reports of some ping pong sized hail. There was one report, kind of an unconfirmed report, of golf ball sized hail. So, most of it is on the smaller side, but there could be a few larger hailstones mixed in. Brittany Simile, just remember, those are not necessarily tornado sirens anymore. Those are outdoor warning sirens, and they are sounded at times for large hail and damaging winds. So just kind of keep that in mind too. And they are going to be sounding those sirens more often because you have Memorial Day weekend, there's more people outside. People a lot of the time get upset because they can't hear the sirens in their home. They're not designed for that. They're designed to be heard outdoors, to warn people outside to go inside. Several people asking about Waxahachie. It does look like it will mostly miss Waxahachie. At least the heaviest part of the storm for now looks like it will miss the Waxahachie area, but it we'll have to watch it because it could turn back over to the southeast here. But it does look like the storm took a bit of a right turn, which is something it can commonly do, usually with rotation involved. I haven't seen any rotation with the storm yet, but that hail core did take a little bit of a right turn towards the Mansfield area. Looks like maybe that's starting to calm down just a little bit. But we will continue to monitor this as it moves towards Midlothian. It is moving towards the Midlothian area right now, without a doubt. It is moving right that direction. So if you're in Mansfield, if you're in Midlothian, if you're in Venus, in Red Oak even, you need to stay inside away from this storm. We don't have any kind of rotation or tornadic activity with this storm right now. If I had to guess, I imagine this storm is probably going to continue to weaken as it makes its way through Ellis County. That's what the other one did. It kind of got here and then slowly but surely sputtered out. So I think for the most part, we're going to see this storm weakening and falling apart just because it's getting farther away from the stationary front, which is its lifting mechanism. And it's tougher and tougher to gauge what's going to happen farther south. So talking about, Blooming Grove and places in Navarro County, it's going to be tough to predict what's going to happen there because it could very well fall apart in Ellis County. It could very well fall apart and return to intensity. But either way, it can be tough to really gauge what's going to happen that far ahead. And getting a picture of a hailstone there in Ellis County. And thank you, Mike, for your donation to the PayPal. Greatly appreciated there. And let's see, I got a lot of pictures coming in, so I apologize if I'm not checking those very quickly, because I got a lot coming in. Let's see. So, for the moment, this is the only storm that is immediately in our area. So, moving into Midlothian in, I would say, the next 15, 20 minutes or so. That's my best guess. It may be a little quicker than that, but I would say maybe 10 to 15 minutes or so before it moves right into the Midlothian area. It's headed right that direction, and it won't be there, it won't be very long before it moves in. And I'm watching the hail sizes come in. There's a quarter size, dime size. There's one report of egg-sized hail in Arlington, but that would have been a little bit ago. So that's not a current report. That would have been back behind there. Storm Chase on YouTube, I haven't gotten any reported wind speeds at this point. So I don't think the winds have been particularly intense. The only reports that I've seen so far were just reported hail sizes. So have not seen any National Weather Service reports of wind speeds at this point. Lots of questions from Storm Chase on YouTube. Flash floods, not really a concern at this point because the storm is moving fairly quickly. But Storm Chase, I would advise you to just kind of hang out, watch the stream. I'm sure most of your questions will be answered. I imagine you're a weather aficionado like I am and just want to see what's going on, but I'm sure most of your questions will be answered in the time that we're on this stream. And by the way, if you're new to the stream and you see the cat involved, this is just a ploy to keep him calm and to keep him from walking on important instrumental items. Because, see if I can put him down and maybe he'll chill out. But it's to the point now where, I really, see if I can get this off of me here. But he's starting to walk on keyboards and things, and it's just a matter of trying to get him to calm down. All right, so Jasmine, the thing is, and there's a lot of reports. There's a lot of reports of clouds moving, clouds lowering, clouds doing this and that. The thing is, guys, there's going to be a lot of motion in these clouds, but you specifically are looking for rotation. And you can even have clouds that sometimes look like they're rotating. It takes a pretty specific chain of events to create a tornado. And I'm not seeing rotation right now, so I'm not really concerned about a tornado in this storm at this moment. So that's the good thing. And some people asking the cat's name. His name is Tiger. That's what my son named him when he was born here. So yeah, Tiger is his name. LaDonna, see, I've looked at merch. We've done merch before, very few buyers, and I also don't really have space here for inventory. So there's, that's merch is a lot easier said than done, from what I understand. So no reports of tornadoes in Midlothian to answer that question. And the National Weather Service saying just a few minutes ago that the storm near Mansfield at this time approaching Midlothian, ping-pong-sized hail and 60-plus mile-per-hour winds are possible. So that's what they've noted here. And so all straight-line winds right now in this storm near Mansfield. And now he wants out. Okay, you got to decide what you want to do, bro. Go. Always changing his mind. So, okay, report from Midlothian High School, clouds, no wind yet, lots of loud thunder, some lightning. Did hear those fancy new sirens in Midlothian? Okay, and a lot of lightning and thunder in Mansfield. Lived by the airport, just thunder and lightning. So, yeah, ahead of the storm, just a lot of thunder and lightning, sounds like. And yeah, so hail in the Mansfield area. I see that. And yeah, if I don't get to be seen, I don't want to be here. That's pretty much his attitude most of the time. The thing is, he's actually sweet. He's actually kind of a snob. So that's the thing. And now I'm on X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it today, with the cat. So as if I wasn't viral enough with the taco meme, which by the way, if you've seen the taco watch and warning meme, and you see the guy that looks like he ate all the tacos that's pointing to him, that's me. If you didn't know, if you don't know, now you know. So let's see, if we get hail, I'll run, get pelted some, and get a picture of the size in relation to my palm. Well, Ryan Lawhead, I mean, hands are relative. Hands are different sizes, and so it's hard to gauge the size by that. Put it next to a nickel or a quarter or something, and that'll give us a better idea of what we're looking at. Let's see. Reports of hail, penny-sized hail, 4 miles east of Mansfield, $half size, 2 miles northeast of Mansfield. So looks like it's mostly just, looks like it's just primarily at this point the, let me see, I'm getting so many messages here. It's primarily pocket change hail. Pat Johnson, no hail in Waxahachie yet. The storm has not quite arrived there. So Waxahachie's here, the storm is up north, and it does, at this point at least, look like the storm is shrinking. So I think, just like the other one, I think the storm is coming down this way to weaken and eventually fall apart. At least that's the way that I'm seeing it right now, because this thing, not near as large or as daunting as it was in other parts of Tarrant County. So I mean, looks like we might just get. There's new storms forming up north. You're joking, right? So there's more storms up north of us, north of Weatherford, north of Fort Worth. So we'll see what those do. Now, it is, I will say it is 8:20. We are minutes away here from sunset at 8:27. So what will be interesting is to see, with these storms losing daytime, losing daylight and daytime heating here, then, I mean, these could weaken before they make it all the way down south here. And granted, they were fairly weak before they finally got a push to move southward. So there's no guarantee that these storms will make it our way, but they could very well. Woosah, Kevin, you got to understand, this is the very beginning. We have more storms this weekend, or more storms this week. Could be more storms tomorrow morning. Could be, and then there's definitely going to be more tomorrow night. We'll have a storm system develop out west and blow in, and more storms in our area. So definitely will. We will definitely have to keep an eye on everything that's going on. This is day one of several, at least 4 or 5 days of on and off storms this week. So we're only getting started. We are only getting started here. So Sai puts on a pot of coffee. That sounds like me. See, we are, I know we are way out probably, but I'm trying to figure out if I should keep my outdoor cat inside in Waxahachie. It's pretty easy to wrangle and really comes running if it pours. It's hard to say if that's going to come to Waxahachie. At this point, it looks like Waxahachie, it could be to where it, we may still get some rain, so it's not going to be a bad idea to bring the cat in. Honestly, if it were Tiger, I'd be trying to get him in here, whether whether this storm's going to make it here or not, just as a careful thing. Jared, you're asking, why does your radar look so much different than Fox 4 WAP app? Everybody has their own kind of way of making the radar look. This is Radar Omega is the product, and I've actually customized this radar with a different file. So even though it's a program, I've customized the radar even further. But the WAP uses the Weather Channel's algorithm and their data and their API. So if you look at the Weather Channel radar and look at the WAP radar, it's basically the same. But any radar program, they have different ways of making it appear. So that's kind of what you see there. Let's see. Who pissed off Mother Nature? I'm really not sure. Cat is outside until tomorrow afternoon when I get a new garage door. Car is outside. Do you think those northern storms will move south? Really have no idea. Really have no idea if those storms will make it that direction. And I'm getting some pictures from Mansfield here. It looks like a trampoline was lofted, and then some tree branches down. So definitely some strong winds in that storm, but it does look like it is is falling apart. Karen asking, why does your map look so different than Fox 4? Again, this is a different radar program. Different programs look different ways. And so, radar scope looks different than this. It's all these different programs and all these different data sources will all kind of look different. McSizzle, Alabama. Well, I don't know if McSizzle is a real place, but I can tell you that I don't cover Alabama, unfortunately. Should we be pulling cars in the garage in Midlothian? At this point, it won't hurt to bring the cars into the garage, but it does look like the storm is weakening. So if it continues that weakening trend, you should be hail-free in Midlothian. But that said, that storm is moving in fairly imminently, so I would say if you want to get it out of the hail, wouldn't be the worst idea in the world just to be on the safe side. Your sister has broken windows in Mansfield with hail in the house. I'd be very interested in pictures of that for sure. Hailing in North Midlothian, some smaller than golf balls, some tiny. Let's see. Lots of questions. Okay, I'm not sure what that was about, but will we get anything in the Waxahachie Maypro area? Mike, you can send them. I've gotten a lot of pictures already, but you can send it to Kevin at southmetroweather.com. Andrea Walton just jumped into the chat here. I gotta say, I switched my home and auto to State Farm with Andrea, and I saved a lot of money. So just a shameless plug there. That Andrea is a big help. So I know there are some companies in Texas that their premiums are going way up, and Andrea's team was a big help. So make sure to sign up with them. But yeah, and I think there's somebody that already replied. Yeah, definitely get in touch with her. Andrea, put your contact information in the message there, and thank you, Dawn, for your Venmo donation. That is greatly appreciated there. Let's see. Overall storm pattern looks odd, and the zoomed out screen almost makes a circle. Not sure what you're referring to there, but we can definitely look here. So I'm not really sure what circle you're talking about. We have outflow here, and then of course these storms north of Weatherford and Fort Worth. There's all of that. So south of Bridgeport, south of Denton. There is some new development there. No idea if this is going to make it to our area. We kind of have to wait and see, but I'll keep watching that. So there's Andrea's information. Man, this storm is falling apart fast. This storm may not even make it to Midlothian. Look how quick that thing is falling apart. So, looks like that is just really quickly dying out. And so, it's just falling apart quickly. So, get in touch with Andrea for sure, because she is a big help on all of that. And like I said, if you have that hail damage, you have damage to your roof, Synergy Roofing is the folks to go to. If you've had water damage, I have an interview with the folks over at PuroClean that hoping to edit maybe tonight and get posted very soon. Very interesting article, interview there. Tree damage, you got Liberty Tree Service. Any of our sponsors here are a great resource to go to for those services. We got sponsors in all different industries that can help with different kinds of storm damage. When it comes to Heritage Air, they can, I mean, we're coming up on summer. You want them to check your air conditioning because with all the humidity that we've had, I mean, my gosh, you might have plumbing issues. Bahama Plumbing. Of course, I've got Hope Health there. So as we get into the summer, the kids start getting freed up for those pediatric appointments and that kind of thing. Try to get those pediatric well visits scheduled in the summer so that you're not having to deal with being out of school and things for those annual well visits. So they're a good place to go for that. Methodist Medical Center in Midlothian, of course, a great, in my mind, one of the best hospitals in the area. I mean, I love the Methodist system anyway, but I've been to Midlothian myself a time or two. For me personally, when I had that weird heart thing, and they did a great job with me. And then if you're tired of living in Tornado Alley, call Jimmy Porch. I'm kidding. I want you to stay here, of course, but he can help you move around a little bit. Sometimes people like to move in the summer to get away from being in the middle of school and that kind of thing too. So any of our sponsors, be sure to reach out to those folks and make sure that you're getting the best deal possibly with local coverage. So I want to make sure that, again, we're watching the storm quickly fall apart. Kimberly, you said Heritage Air screwed your neighbor. I would encourage you to get in touch with them or for your neighbor to get in touch with them because the folks that I've spoken to so far have been very professional. So I would encourage you to maybe check on some kind of recourse for that. Thank you, Kelly, for your Venmo donation. That is greatly appreciated there. And I think I saw somebody asking for that. Let me put that up there because I haven't done that yet. I usually do, but have not done that yet. Okay, and trying to get into, let's see, follow more comments. Switch from Allstate to State Farm. Allstate didn't even ask why I was canceling after 15 years. Well, Val, I mean, we're to a point now where so many people are changing companies, and I mean, my other company didn't ask either. And we've been with them for the past about 9 years or so. Yeah, about 9 years, as long as we've lived here. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at there are companies that are taking no new customers in Texas and they're raising rates that way, and they know why you're canceling. I mean, if they're raising your rates that high, they know why you're canceling. They don't need to know. Trust me. So Ashley Rogers asking about the storms for tomorrow. I guess we can get into that here. I'll continue to watch this activity to the north. My gut tells me that I can't guarantee that they won't, but my gut says I'm doubtful these will make it because the sun is going down. We've hit sunset now, so we're losing daytime heating, and I doubt they would make it this far south. And plus, when they get here, apparently they'd start dying out. So that's kind of where we're at there. So Hamad, thank you so much for your donation in Cash App. Greatly appreciate that. Let's see here. Let me pull up. I want to pull up a couple of things. So there's two things I'm going to be watching tomorrow: is morning convection and evening convection. And I don't know if I'm going to get a full run out of the NAM from this. We'll see what the high resolution rapid refresh will tell us. So this is the high resolution rapid refresh at 11 a.m. Really nothing before then. However, at 11 a.m. you see a lot of convection moving from the north. So this is one thing that this is for tomorrow. This is what it shows for 11 a.m. in the morning. That's the high resolution rapid refresh. This runs every hour. Every 6 hours it has an extended run. So that's what we're looking at here. And then off to the west, you see 6 o'clock. So the high resolution rapid refresh model has this system really very quickly develop to the west. And the severe thunderstorm warning for Dallas, Ellis, Johnson, and Tarrant has been canceled, by the way. So there is that. And then I'll see how far we can get out of this. Yeah, so that's 7 o'clock. So a lot of convection, could be some ahead of it, but mostly we're watching this complex to the west. So late tomorrow night, we will have that complex moving through. And then we could have more ahead of that. Now, we got to go to the NAM here, and that's going to be further back. That's going to be 6 hours before that, but it's the same general kind of gist. But this is the reason that one of the models is a little different here. So let me just quickly give you this here. So this is 6 a.m. So the NAM model thinks that we will get a much earlier. Now, I've not seen the NAM model's latest run. It's still working on its 8 o'clock run. We probably won't have that until 9 or 10. So I'll be posting tonight what tomorrow morning looks like and try to see if the models have some consensus here now. They've been disagreeing with each other all day because the NAM model thinks we'll get an early morning run of the storms. And that's 6 o'clock. And then this is 11 a.m., this is 1 o'clock, some more kind of scattered activity that may not necessarily be severe around tomorrow afternoon. And then again, here's where they agree. So 8 o'clock, both models, both short-term models had this stuff coming in tomorrow night farther to the west. So that's what we're looking at here. And again, that moves through overnight, early the following morning. And then going ahead from there, so this is 1 a.m. Well, during the day on, let's see, that's going to be Thursday. Looks like just some scattered activity. So not much Thursday. So here's the thing. Once we get past Wednesday, kind of hard to tell. I really have a 30% chance, really past Tuesday, past tomorrow. I have a 30% chance the storms Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As we get closer, we'll get a better idea of where and when. But it's one of those kind of weeks where the weather pattern is a little bit unclear. So we'll just kind of keep going on from there. Now, just to give you, let me kind of look at the severe weather risk for tomorrow, because they do have us painted in an enhanced risk for tomorrow. So here's tomorrow's severe weather risk. Here's that enhanced risk. We're kind of on the edge of it. So most of that is to the southwest. So we'll see what that does. Slight risk for the rest of us, but for the most part, just an enhanced risk across parts of our area. And we'll continue to monitor that. I'll be posting, like I said, later tonight. Could be late tonight. I'll be watching to see what those two models do, get a better idea of their consensus, and then we'll figure out what we're looking at. Storms are possible early tomorrow morning. So once you first wake up in the morning, you want to make sure you're checking what the weather is doing. We could have some storms moving in fairly early. And then really it looks like morning storms, possibly some scattered activity in the afternoon. And then tomorrow night is when we get the next big push of storms that looks like it's probably going to move in late tomorrow night. But let's get one more look at the radar here. The severe thunderstorm warning, including parts of our area, has been canceled. That storm very quickly fell apart. It's barely even there now. You can see that, and yeah, you can see how quickly that fell apart. And then the southern parts of Collin and what is that, Wise County there, Young County? South of Decatur there, those storms just sitting there. I'll watch those in case they make it our way. I highly doubt they will. But yeah, stay tuned for more updates on all of this. Thank you, Emily, for your Venmo donation. Thank you, Zach, for your donation, and Kim for your donations, all on Venmo. So thank you so much again. I appreciate all of you. And we've got a busy week ahead. So stay tuned to South Metro Weather for more updates.